There is a ton of snow outside reflecting the light, so I may actually be overlit for once, which frankly is a miracle. Hi everyone, I'm Shell and I'm a cosplayer. If you are new to my channel, welcome, or if you are one of my fabulous subscribers, welcome back! Today I want to talk a little bit about my experience at ComfyCozyCon this past weekend. If you're not aware of what I'm talking about, ComfyCozyCon is a free online convention held on Twitch. The winter edition of ComfyCozyCon took place on December 12th, and I had the honor of being a guest panelist. The latter half of this video, or more like 7/8, features footage of my panel that I presented on Saturday. I absolutely loved this convention, both as an attendee and as a panelist. To put it frankly, no other convention has ever made me feel so comfy cozy, pun intended. This convention was both created by and is run by cosplayers, and as a panelist, I felt more well taken care of at ComfyCozyCon than any of the professional conventions I've gone to. I'd like to give a huge shout out to the head of ComfyCozyCon, Ashwee's Cosplay, for making the whole environment so safe and so welcoming for everyone. I believe I was one of the only panelists that hadn't also been in the summer version of the convention back in August. So I was kind of like the new kid in town, but everyone was really so welcoming, so helpful, and frankly, I made a ton of new friends, which is so exciting. To those of you who attended my panel on Saturday, thank you so much. I loved seeing your names in the chat. I saw all of you, trust me, and it made me so excited, and I was so happy to have your support. It really meant the world. To those of you who could not make it, I understand scheduling is tough, but luckily I have recorded the panel so you can watch it shortly. Again, thank you so much to ComfyCozyCon for having me as a guest. I had an absolutely wonderful time, and I would highly recommend everyone to keep an eye on this convention for its next session in the future so you can attend too. Now, stay tuned for my full panel on how I save money on cosplay. I take you from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, to props and photos and everything in between, and it is full of so much information. I get so many questions from you guys about how to save money. Trust me, if you have ever thought that, this is the panel you want to watch. As always, if you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. I would love to help you out. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. See you later. Hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me all right. Please let me know if you cannot. That would be concerning. Welcome to the Low Cosplay panel. We are here at 12 Eastern Standard Time, 11 Central Time. I don't know what time you are if you're off in California. 10? I don't know math. Anyway, yay, everyone can hear me. Oh, hello, everybody. So we are going to talk about saving money on cosplay. This is a topic near and dear to my heart, and I'm so honored that ComfyCozyCon is allowing me to take part today and talk about it. I am here in my Comfy Cozy She-Ra cosplay, if you can sort of see it. This was something I intended to wear for a convention in March, which was of course sadly canceled because of certain world events that are happening. So here I am, rekindling it, very happy. Hi everybody. Without further ado, let's get started. We're actually going to start with like a little run through of what I'm going to talk about. So we're going to get right into it. It's a long panel. So there should be a beautiful little comic on your screen with a little caption that I personally relate to very much. We are going to talk about all of these topics today. Yep, there it is. Sorry, there's a lag. I got concerned. So we're going to talk about introductions. Who am I? I'm kind of new to this convention. There's a lot of people from Texas, which I am not. So it's going to be very exciting to introduce myself to you all. Cosplay philosophy. Why should you want to save money on cosplay? What even is cosplay? What is like your purpose behind your cosplay? And then we're going to literally go head to toe from the very first time you choose your character, to your wig, to your shoes, to going to the convention, to doing photos. There will be time for questions at the end, hopefully. You can also please feel free to ask questions in the chat as I go through the slides. I will be trying my best to pay attention to it. So without further ado, I'm probably going to say that a lot, just a warning. Who am I? Well, I am Shell, also known as Shell Bell Cosplay. That is my Instagram handle with the little dots. My YouTube is the same, but without the little dots. Darn. I started in 2016, so I am a 4-year-old cosplayer. And here's why you should believe that I know what I'm talking about. I have gone to conventions in both the New England area and the United Kingdom. I was very lucky to be able to go to MCM London Comic-Con, as well as, what was it? Anime Fest? Japan Fest? Another convention in London. My claim to fame for my cheapest cosplay is free. I've actually made multiple free cosplays, which I'm quite proud of. And my most expensive cosplay was a Ballet Ladybug cosplay that I made for $117. And if you are a cosplayer who does big handmade builds, hopefully you know that that's actually pretty cheap as far as making cosplay goes. So I am very proud of that. For some people, you might bulk at that number. Personally, that's a pretty good deal. So I'm proud. Now, let's really hop on into our topic, saving money. Before we begin, though, that was a terrible transition. We'll work on that. For me personally, cosplay is about fun. Cosplay is a hobby. This is not something I do professionally. It's not something I do with like a desire for fame or recognition. It's just about having fun and being a nerd. So personally, my favorite memories from cosplay and my favorite experiences with cosplay are ones I've got to had with my friends, which is why I have this really dumb photo on this slide from last year, 2019, when my friend, darling Peanut, we were doing photos and she just fell into a bush and we got it on camera. And that's me in the white as Daniel from Camp going over to try to help her. That is kind of my philosophy personally. I am about having fun with my friends. I'm not about making the most amazingly accurate costume. I'm not about being the best cosplayer ever. I'm not about winning anything. I'm about having fun. And I think that's what's really important in cosplay is that you are enjoying yourself. You know, we're all dressed up nerds with nowhere to go currently, unfortunately. Some other days maybe, but not this year. So if you aren't having fun, what is the point? In that vein, accuracy is not all it's cracked up to be. I really think accuracy and freaking out over accuracy is the biggest mistake beginner cosplayers make. I know when I started, I was very intimidated by getting like the exact color right of a character's dress. It's just a yellow dress. No one cares if it's like honeysuckle or mustard, like it's yellow. And I focused so much on this one color, it prevented me from really enjoying the process and really getting into it and having fun. So unless you're in a competition, it's not a competition. You don't have to be better. You don't have to be most accurate. You're no worse than anyone else. We're all here to have fun and learn and make something we are proud of. Keep that in mind as we continue, please. So the very first step of making a cosplay is, of course, choosing your character. The unfortunate truth here is that simple designs are going to be cheaper. I have cosplayed a lot of characters from North American cartoons, She-Ra being one of them, because they tend to have very simple, flat designs. Other examples include like Mabel from Gravity Falls, a lot of the characters from Camp, the characters from Infinity Train, like Tulip, she literally just wears a green sweatshirt. Those characters have clothes that you're going to find in a thrift store or a Walmart or a Target or an Amazon. So those are going to be a lot cheaper than something you have to hand make. Once you have chosen a character, even if you want to go crazy, you can do that, but just be aware. You're going to want to create a list and a budget estimate. So what I literally do is I write a list from the top of the character's head with like any headbands or like ears or accessories to their feet and everything in between that. And I go through each of those little things and I write how much I think that's going to cost me based on my past experience, based on a little scroll through Amazon maybe, based on a little gander at Joann Fabrics, like what is this one going to cost me about?
That way you can kind of make a total and budget for that total. This is also a really helpful way to find what you already maybe have. Maybe you have scrapped fabric somewhere. Maybe you have a basic blue shirt somewhere that you can kind of alter. I also love for this process the CosPlanner app. It is both on Android and Apple, and it is so useful. I have a screenshot on my screen right there of my actual app and an actual character I've made using it. This is my like Lolita fashion style inspired Greg from Over the Garden Wall. I'm still working on it. I've been meaning to take photos of it every fall for about 2 years now. I'm still working on it, but I'm taking my time and I'm enjoying it. And the app really lets me track my progress as I go. The percentage of what I've made of the skirt, what I've made of the trim, what I've made of the headpiece. Do I have tight spot? Yes, I do. So it is a great app. Yeah, it is an app. It's on Android, it's on Apple. You can use it for everything. I'm just trying to catch the chat. Oh yeah, fabulous. So also, little side tip here. Personally, I ran into this with my first big cosplay build, is that crafting supplies, and I'm talking like fabric scissors and special glues and a hot glue gun. Those things, when you start out and you don't have them, those are going to raise your cost a lot. Personally, I really like using a rotary cutter. It's like a pizza cutter, but for fabric. And for that, you need not only a rotary cutter, but a rotary cutting mat and blades, and you need to learn how to use it. So that just alone cost me like $50 starting out. Now, you don't need those all when you first make a cosplay, but if you want to buy them, it's going to raise your cost. Keep that in mind. Now, starting at your head. I'm actually wearing the exact wig that is in that photo, which is crazy. I wear this wig for like every cosplay because I love it. Here is some tea that is sometimes vaguely controversial. Arta is not the only place that sells wigs. When I started in cosplay 4 years ago, Arta was like the end all be all of wigs, it felt like. Every single cosplay YouTuber I saw, every single Instagram person, every single person online wore Arta wigs, and that was all they wore. And that's fine. Arta's like a really great wig company. They make very high quality wigs. Their wigs have really good fibers. They're super easy to style. If you want a 3D sculpture on your head of like Goku, get an Arta wig. Like, do it. It's a great investment. But if you don't need that, if you need, for example, just like a blonde curly wig like I'm wearing, get it anywhere else because it's going to be a lot cheaper. Art is great. It's not for everything, in my opinion. I think if you use Arta for every single wig you buy, you're going to be wasting a lot of your money because there's so many other wig companies out there. And I've listed a ton of them on that screen. There's Epic Cosplay, Rockstar, Five Wigs, Wig Supplier, Amazon, eBay. You can even get wigs secondhand. There's so many cosplay resale Facebook groups and Instagram pages. And if you really want an Arta wig, it's a good idea to look at those first because Arta wigs sell fast on there. It is a really good idea to check those out. Personally, like all of my wigs are from Amazon. You can watch my video, How to Find Good Wigs on Amazon, on my YouTube. Shameless plug, but that is a really long, in-depth video I made about my exact process of how I buy wigs on Amazon and find good quality wigs for a good price. Personally, I live by dry shampoo and oil spray for my wigs, not just my Amazon wigs, but also my Arta wigs. These are super good for detangling and de-shining. I literally used this on this wig last night when I was getting ready. This is OGX argan oil. You don't even need to use this. I've used vegetable oil on wigs before. It's not amazing, but it gets the job done. And this is just like not your mother's refreshing dry shampoo. It was just the cheapest dry shampoo I could find. So those are really good options for wigs. Let us move away from the head into our first quiz. Whoa, surprise, amazing, whoa, okay. We just learned all about wigs. Let's test what you learned and your preconceived notions about wigs. Ready? Let's go. Wig quiz. Quiz time. Woo woo. Okay, so I have 3 wigs pictured here, A, B, C. They are my Supergirl, my Mabel cosplay, and my gang version of Heather. So Which of these wigs do you believe was the most expensive, A, B, or C? And what do you think it cost? You don't have to answer both questions. You can just answer the first one. But I want people to sound off in the chat and say if you think A, B, or C was more expensive. I'm going to give you a minute here. I'm going to pull up my phone. Ooh, we've got some things for Mabel 40. A lot of people are saying A. Ooh, interesting. A. Mabel 20. Someone said Mabel 40. Someone said A for 60, B for 40, A for 50. Okay, so I'm seeing A and B a lot, and around like 40, 50, and above. Oh, I see a lot of friends in here. Hi, friends. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, so a lot of A, a lot of B. I don't think anyone has answered C. A, B, everyone thinks 40 or 50 or above. Are you ready for the answers? Are you prepared? Are we ready? Another answer for A45. Oh, hi, Kelly. I love you. Okay, let's go. Let's see what the answer is. Oh, I tricked you. I am so sorry. A and C are the same exact wig. And all three of these wigs are less than $20. All of these wigs were from Amazon. They were all less than $20. The Mabel wig was actually just $13, and it was one of the very first wigs I bought. It's one of my favorites. People think it's my real hair all the time. The only difference between A and C with the wig pictured. So C, the Heather photo, was the very first time I wore that wig. I actually didn't know it was a middle part. So I put it, the center part, in the center of my forehead. And that's why it looks that way. That's why the curl patterns are that way. For Supergirl, I literally just twisted the wig cap over so the part was on the side. And the only other thing I did was I took brown eyeshadow and I put it along the part to make it look like there's roots. All of the wigs are less than $20. The only difference is some eyeshadow and just a little whoop. So there are so many things you can do with wigs and that you can use wigs for that you don't think you can. You just have to be creative and you have to think outside the box. And like I said, seriously, go watch that YouTube video about how to find good wigs on Amazon. I go step by step through. It is so simple once you learn it. I highly recommend it. Let us move on to makeup. So, drugstore makeup is amazing. Again, I'm going to use my personal experience here, but when I started out as a cosplayer, people were like, oh, I use this like Ulta 24-hour makeup priming setting something spray made with like the tears of baby unicorns, and it's like $500 a bottle, and I can use it 6 times before it empties out. I do not do that. If you have the money and the budget and you really value those products, go ahead and buy them. They are wonderful products. Go get yourself something really nice and expensive. If you don't have to. You really don't. I buy all of my makeup at Walmart. Yep, Walmart. I'm going to be real honest with you. I use Walmart makeup. I've had the same foundation for about a year now. It is Revlon. It was $8. Drugstore makeup is good quality. There's also so many makeup brands online, smaller makeup brands that make really good products. My favorites, JCat Beauty, Coastal Scents, and the one pictured there, the palette, is by Makeup Obsession, which is an English brand that I got into when I was living over in Britain. You can ship it to the US. It's like a tiny bit expensive. It's like $6 shipping for a palette, but it's really good makeup. If you are still learning, I highly, highly recommend practicing with less expensive products first. I just saw someone in the chat said, oh, hypoallergenic makeup. So Walmart does sell Almay makeup, I believe, at least mine does, which tends to be hypoallergenic. I have used that and it has worked. I do have like very sensitive eyes and I've never had much of a problem with those. So my example of still learning, don't use expensive products is this. I used this in a YouTube video the other day. These are felt tip eyeliner pens. They're basically liquid, but it's more like a marker than a brush, so it's a lot easier to apply. This one is Kat Von D from Sephora. It is $25. This one is $1, and I found it at Walmart. And I started using this before I bought the Sephora one to practice with. And it's a good eyeliner. Like, look at that. That's fine. It's a felt tip eyeliner. It's waterproof, it stays on, it works well. This is the Sephora one, $25. Also a good eyeliner. They're pretty much the same, honestly. Maybe the $1 one rubs off a bit faster, but I like using the $1 one even now that I've learned how to do eyeliner better, because I don't want to use $25 eyeliner like every time I do like a cosplay makeup test just in my room taking selfies. I feel like that's a waste of $25 eyeliner. So yes, you can get this if you want to. That's my like one expensive makeup thing I own is this eyeliner, but you can also get this and it's going to work really well. There you go. I also highly recommend, if you are looking for new products, reading reviews, watching YouTube videos, even just asking people on Instagram, sending someone a DM like, hey, what eyeshadow are you using here? I found my primer at Walmart for, I think, $6 by literally Googling best drugstore primer, oily skin. And I came up with like a Cosmo article that had 6 great drugstore primers. And they like rated all of these primers from drugstores. And that's how I picked my primer. Literally, most of these things you can just Google. You really just need to do research and have a good time with that. Ooh, some people are also dropping some really good brands in the comments. Miss A, Black Radiance. Ooh, check those out. Listen to your fellow peers. I also have a whole video, 5 favorite makeup products on YouTube, plugging my YouTube again, but it's a good video. I talk about eyeshadows, I talk about primers, I talk about settings powders, and they're all like under 15 bucks each. Check it out. Let's talk buying cosplay. Let's get into the actual physical thing you are wearing. The first thing you want to do if you're going to buy cosplay is I say raid your closet, and not just your closet, raid your family's closet with consent, please. Raid your basement, raid your attic, see whatever you have that you can use. And then I go and raid my thrift store. It is super ethical and sustainable and so much better for our planet to buy secondhand, especially for cosplay when you're not going to be wearing it that often. So please use what you have and buy things secondhand instead of going to like Forever 21 and getting a cheap black dress right away. I guarantee you can find a cheap black dress at a thrift store for much less. Another thing is basics can so easily be bought and altered. This sweatshirt was from a thrift store and I painted an insignia on it. This is not even like a fabric paint, it's acrylic paint. uh, Maybe it's not the best for fabric, but it's been working great for me. So please buy secondhand first. Also, never buy the first thing you find, especially when you're looking at bought pre-made cosplay. Buy something like Mike Costumes, Easy Cosplay. I've heard they aren't such a great company anymore, but like that's one that comes to mind. Roll Cosplay. The cosplay I'm wearing in that photo is from an anime called My Next Life as a Villainess, and it is from Uwowo Cosplay. That's Uwowo, like Uwo. And I got that for $60 from them. It took several months to ship, but it was a very good price. And I compared that to Roll Cosplay. I think sold it for 80. Easy Cosplay sold it for 60, but the quality wasn't good. And Cosplay Sky sold it for 70. So I did not buy the first one I found. I wanted to see every single one that was offered, what kind of quality it was, what kind of photos they had, what kind of prices were. And even better, if it's not a new character, this one unfortunately is, but if it's something more like Full Metal Alchemist or Naruto or even more recent animes, Blend S, Cells at Work, things like that. Again, those are all things that you can find secondhand online in a Facebook group or an Instagram page. Just go into the search bar, search used cosplay for sale. A lot of times people are selling things that are very gently used or almost even like new. So those are great options. Look for reviews on YouTube. This is another thing that you should do for a company, especially Roll Cosplay, Mike Costumes. So many of those cosplay specific sellers will partner with people on YouTube to give them reviews. They will send them a type Asuna cosplay review. Mike Costumes has one from Acceleration Designs. Easy Cosplay has them. Like every single company does that. So it is a great idea to look up reviews. Even if you can't find the specific costume being reviewed that you're looking for, you can look at reviews from the company you're thinking of buying it from and see what kind of quality they offer, see what kind of sizing they offer, and hear it directly from another cosplayer. Especially in terms of sizing, I do recommend going a size up when there's a question because Asian sizes are different than US sizes and North American sizes. They tend to be smaller. They tend to be harder to squeeze into. I actually, unfortunately, had to alter that dress in that photo and add a whole triangular panel behind one of my shoulders because that thing just did not fit on me. It was crazy how small it was. Even though I ordered from the size chart, even though I measured myself, like I made sure, and just still did not fit. And it was very hard to add. It's really hard to add to a costume. It's a lot easier to take away. So if you get something that's slightly big, you can take that in with a bit of sewing or even just hot glue, but it's really hard to add fabric. So I do recommend going a size up when in doubt. Now, we don't just buy cosplay here, we also make cosplay. Woohoo! Biggest tip for making cosplay is, oh my God, use coupons. If you are not using coupons when you are buying cosplay materials, you are literally throwing money away because stores like Joann's and Michael's Crafts, and those are the two stores that are in my area. I don't know about like Hobby Lobby or other craft stores, but I can speak personally. Joann and Michael's Crafts always have a 30% off coupon every single week for a regular priced item. It's even higher right now that we're in like the just before Christmas season. I think it's 20% off every regular priced purchase at Michael's until Christmas. So if you are buying things full price, you're throwing your money out. Sorry to break it to you. Use coupons. You don't even have to be a member. You don't have to sign up for anything. Just as you're standing in line, get on your phone, Google Michael's Crafts or Joann Fabrics, pull up their website, scroll down to the coupon section, show it to the cashier. You are welcome. Also, on that vein, Joann's is usually going to be the most expensive option. Joann kind of has a monopoly on fabric selling in America. They're like, can you think of any other retail chain store that sells fabric? If you can, please let me know because I would love to know one. But at least in my area, we don't have that. So because Joann has like a monopoly, they can charge very high prices. So I buy my notions and trim at Walmart, as said on the bottom of the slide, because at Walmart I can get 3 yards of a lace eyelet trim for $6. That same trim at Joann's is $6 a yard. So it's 3 times the price. I think that's how math works. So, oh, I kicked my dry shampoo. Ignore that. I really recommend using coupons, trying to shop during sales, and hoarding. If you have the means and the space, I do recommend hoarding. This is my scrap fabric bag. I save every piece of fabric that is larger than a sheet of regular paper because you can use it for something. I just made my friend a beautiful plush out of some fabric I had left over from some shorts I made. You can use it. It's so full, that thing. I think it's gonna just like burst someday. But I also made the bag out of a scrap, so full circle recycling. I also love when I get things online. I am unfortunately a bit of a slave to Amazon. It's an unfortunate truth about me. But a lot of times companies, especially Amazon, will send you paper in with your package to like, keep things from shifting around in there. And me being an obsessive hoarder, I save that because look at this. This isn't even all of it. You can use this or wrapping paper as it goes on sale after Christmas, or, oof, wrapping paper. Yeah, wrapping paper is probably the best other one I can think of. But I use this to make patterns. I use it to draft my own patterns and make stencils and templates, and it's just free gigantic sheets of paper in my little Amazon box. I am in fact a hoarder, but it works. When you are making cosplay, you definitely should be thinking outside the box. Don't just think, okay, people on YouTube use Warbla. I need Warbla. It's $50 a roll. Oh my God. No, make it out of whatever you want. You don't need Warbler. You can use craft foam and slap some paint on it and slap some plastic tip on it. You can use cardboard. You can use Mod Podge. You can use masking tape. Think outside the box. Really think about all of your options and what is going to work best for you. Sometimes a more expensive thing is going to be what works best, but that's okay because you can decide when to make those investments. Another quiz. Okay, let's see. So many good tips in the chat. Okay, quiz time. This is also this is a screen grab from Psyche K, one of my favorite animes. So let's challenge your notions about making and buying cosplay now. Which of these two cosplays do you think was more expensive? And which do you think more time? So cosplay A is my bean wedding dress from Disenchantment. Cosplay B is my Diana Cavendish school uniform from Little Witch Academia. Oh, yay, Disenchantment fans. No one ever knows Disenchantment. I'm so happy. Yeah, the wedding dress was really a labor of love. But so sound off in the chat. Do you think that A or B was more expensive? And which do you think took more time? Okay, let's see. Wing Princess 32 says Diana more expensive, Bean took more time. People are tending to agree. Ooh. Also, these beautiful photos, there will be credit for the photos later on in the slideshow, so you can look up my photographers because they're wonderful. A was more expensive, B took more time. Interesting. Please tell me A is a thrifted wedding dress. Oh, that would be amazing. Okay, interesting. Get your answers in, get your answers in. Get them in. Gather them all up and get them in. We're gonna expose the truth in 3, 2, 1. So these two cosplays were about the same price point. There's only a $5 difference here. However, there's a difference of 28 hours of work. The Diana cosplay on the right side was a pre-bought school uniform that I bought from eBay. It was specific to Diana Cavendish. The wig is what I'm wearing here from Amazon, and the hat I made myself out of some fabric from Joann's and a little beach hat I found on eBay. So because that was a pre-made cosplay, it cost me more money, but I had to spend much, much less time on it. The bean wedding dress was not pre-made. I did use a base dress from Amazon. It is actually a Cinderella Halloween costume because Bean's wedding dress looks surprisingly like Cinderella. So it was like a really cheapo Cinderella costume from Halloween that I bought on clearance for like 30 bucks. I added a ton of petticoats to it. I did a ton of different skirt modifications. I done a lot of hand painting on that sucker, and I already owned the wig. So adding all of those modifications wasn't very expensive, but it took a lot of time. One of the skirts I actually made out of a tablecloth, so it was free. I just pulled it out of the closet and got permission to use it. So they're same price points, but one took a drastically longer time because I spent so much time making it and kind of like thrifting the things from what I already had and finding things for a cheaper price on clearance. So when buying or making cosplay, what you want to think about is, do you value your time or do you value your money? And that can be a tricky thing because it depends on the cosplay, it depends on the situation. And that's why it's really important to do your research, do your little searches, look for reviews, look up prices, budgeting, and decide, okay, can I budget more for this and spend less time making it myself? Or do I want to budget less and spend more time creating and doing the work and putting it in? And that is up to you. That is your truth. Live your dream. Follow your journey. Now let's talk props. I am not a prop master, but I do have some prop experience under my belt and I can give you some tips. The first one, believe it or not, is Craigslist. I was looking for croquet mallets for a Heather's group for like a solid year, I think, online. I was looking on eBay, I was looking at Target, I was looking at Walmart, I was looking at Dick's Sporting Goods. Like I was looking everywhere you could possibly think to find croquet. And then I looked on Craigslist because everywhere else, a full set of croquet mallets was over $100. And then some kind soul was selling them on Craigslist for 20 bucks. I have a full croquet set for $20. It's so amazing. I'm honestly just so proud of that one. Like, I think you can tell I'm so excited talking about it. Oh, thank you so much. You love my Adora. Oh, you guys are so kind. Also, thrift stores. I made a bat for another Heather cosplay. God, my Heather bias is showing. And this bat was 99 cents from a thrift store. It's just a black, I pulled on my cord. It's just a black wiffle ball bat, but I added all of these white lines with acrylic paint. I added some blood splatters, because evil. And I added a ton of detail that was just for free in a plastic bat. Super great. 99 cents. Woohoo! Well, yeah, honestly, I do just thrift basically my entire life. If you ever need to find me, you'll find me in a thrift store. So thrift stores, garage sales, Craigslist, gold mines. YouTube tutorials are your best friend for prop making. I have made a couple. I did a little weapon for Panty and Stocking. I made Panty's gun garter belt. And that was all craft foam. Michael's Crafts sells these giant rolls of craft foam. This isn't even all of it because I used half of it. Whoop. Okay, you go over there now. I believe I got that giant roll of craft foam on Black Friday last year in 2019 for like $6. And that's like 6 feet of craft foam, which is super handy when you're making stuff like this. This is my shear sword. I think she cost me $2 to make because all I had to buy was the wooden dowel in the center. Everything else I already had. I already had 6 feet of craft foam. I already had a gem in a drawer somewhere. I already had acrylic paint. And I love her. Not the most like impressive prop anyone has ever made, but it was my first. I hold a great affection for her. I'm very proud of her. And yeah, she cost $2 because I already had everything else I needed because I am a hoarder. Yeah. So I definitely recommend hitting up your craft store, finding the giant rolls of craft foam. They are in the foam section, like in the kids kind of crafty section where they sell the normal little sheets, but then there's giant rolls of them. And they're beautiful. I can't rave about them enough. However, one thing I do want to remind you of as you are making your props is before you go to a convention again, when we can go to a physical convention again, before you make your prop, please check the policies and the rules, and especially the weapons policies. A lot of conventions are changing these days. I know some specific like large conventions in California don't even allow in like prop like weapons, like firing weapons anymore. I don't know if I can say gun on Twitch. I hope I can because I just did. They don't even allow things that resemble that anymore, even if they're just like completely foam. So before you spend your money and your precious time and your resources making something so beautiful, only to get there and say like you can't bring that in, you got to put it in a locker. Please check. A lot of conventions also don't not allow. Blah, 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 blah. That's usually what I edit out of YouTube. It's just blah blah blah. A lot of conventions also do not allow things with wheels, roller skates, skateboards, Heelys, unfortunately. So before you go and spend all your money and time making something, make sure you can bring it in and show it off. Let's move on to photos. And this is where we have the credit at the bottom there of all of the photos in this presentation were so kindly taken by my friends Celestial Inertia Photography and my friend Silver Falcon Cosplay. Check them out. They're super great. But photo shoots are something that so many people can be intimidated by when they get into cosplay because it's expensive. And how do you pose? And how do you find these mysterious camera people with their technology? I have great news for you. Do you have a friend? Of course you do. Do you have a smartphone? Of course one of you does at least. You've got all the makings of a photo shoot. You just need a cosplay. So I really highly recommend, especially if you're starting out, even if you are like a multi-year experienced cosplayer and you just want a few quick snaps of like your cute outfit, just pull out your smartphone. There are so many wonderful things you can do with smartphone these days. The technology for photography is amazing, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Another great way to get some photos for no cost is convention photo suites. Again, this is something that you'll have to wait for a physical convention to do, but a lot of conventions will have a little room in the programming somewhere with a backdrop and someone with a nice camera who will take your photo for you. And they'll take, a couple photos, maybe one, maybe three, maybe five, and you can have it afterwards. Wait a couple days, check out the convention website, see when they're up, and you've got a photo of your cosplay. And it's that simple, and it's a great opportunity. I have put in an asterisk because when you do use a convention photo suite, I want you to be sure what you are getting into. So, do you know where they might put your photo afterwards? Because sometimes when the convention staff photographs you, that photo becomes the property of the convention. So, if they take your photo, will they then put you in advertising? Will they put you in promotional material? Will they post that photo on Facebook or Instagram? Be aware of what they're going to do with your photos, just, as a general idea. So you are comfortable with that and there's no surprises down the line. It is a concession you kind of have to make if you are going to get photos for free. If you are looking for a professional paid photographer, I highly, highly recommend checking out, again, Facebook groups and Instagram tags. So, for example, if I was going to look for a photographer for Anime Boston, which is a convention in Boston in the spring, I would type into Facebook, Anime Boston Photography. And there is actually a whole Facebook group independently run by photographers just to arrange photo shoots. That is a great place to look. If I wanted to go on Instagram, I would type in hashtag Anime Boston 2021. And I would find someone with that hashtag. A lot of photographers will put up examples of their work, say when they're taking clients, and use those hashtags. And that's another great way. That is personally what I do. I also recommend you ask friends for recommendations, as Nerdy Bell is saying in the chat. That's a very good point. In addition, please remember that if you are trying to book a professional photographer, I highly recommend, if this is a person you are meeting for the first time, doing it at a convention and not at a location shoot outside of a convention somewhere, just for safety, because conventions, are busy and they have a lot of people around. So if you meet someone and they turn out to be kind of weird, you have a lot of people you can go to and be safe with. But if you're at a location shoot and you don't really know where you are, maybe you're at a new place for the first time, maybe you're by yourself, that's not as safe. So save your professional photo shoots bookings for a convention, bring a friend, bring a buddy, and have a nice time and get some really adorable photos of yourself. Now, ba-ba-da-ba! We've come to our final quiz. That's right, quiz time. Which of these three photos was edited on an iPhone? We have got three cosplays up here. We have A, B, C. We have Loop Taco from The Adventure Zone. We have Supergirl from Supergirl. And we have Kyoko from Danganronpa. What of the three was edited on an iPhone? Take your answers and put them in the chat. This is what you guys always miss on YouTube. This is what I edit out, so this is fine. Ooh, okay, C. Let's see. Quiz time. Someone says all. Someone says A. Kelly, don't sweat. It's fine. Ooh, another A. Espresso Genio says all of them. Interesting answers. Interesting answers. Another person says all of them. Ooh, Wing Princess 32 is coming in with a hard B or C. Hard all caps B or C. Let's see. Without further ado, let's reveal the answers. So many of you got it right. It is all of them. So the program I love to use for photo editing, especially on mobile and for Instagram, is an app called Adobe Photoshop Fix. It is a free app. It is Adobe software. All you need to use it is make an Adobe account. So that is just your email and a password, but it is completely free. You do not have to pay any money. You do not have to pay a subscription. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you can need is an email and password, and it's both for Android and for iPhone. I highly recommend it. It's a really great product, and it has a bit of a learning curve, but you can really play around with it and figure things out. And it is what I love for cosplay photography. I just love everyone in the chat going off about like how happy they are for getting it right. Congratulations, all of you. I mean, if you didn't expect another little trick up my sleeve by this point, I'd be a bit concerned. So let's move on. This is our last category of how to save money on cosplay is saving at conventions. Biggest tip, bring your own food. I bring so many snacks to conventions. I bring granola bars, I bring fruit snacks, I bring carrot sticks, like I bring little nuts, almonds for protein. I bring coffee. I bring all of my food to conventions, basically. It is going to save you so much money. Convention food is expensive, and you don't want to eat out for an entire weekend. You'll kind of feel gross probably anyway if you do that. So bring your own food, whether it's a day, whether it's 3 days, bring some snacks. My next tip is exploring accommodation options. Now, when I say explore your options, I mean that in every single sense of the word. I mean, maybe you can have a sleepover at a friend's house. Maybe you can stay at your house and drive or take public transportation in. I forgot other places you could live for a minute there. Don't worry about it. If you are going to stay at a hotel, don't just look at the hotel that the convention is having it at. Look at every hotel like within 2 blocks. Because if you can walk to the convention in 5 minutes and save like $300 a night, it is worth it. I really, really recommend checking the hotels around, especially at conventions like CatsuCon. You don't have to stay in the Gaylord. Gaylord's heckin' expensive, and it fills up fast, like really fast. It's kind of terrifying. Plus, convention hotels tend to be like kind of loud. Everyone's there to party. You don't know who you'll be next to. So you could always just a little proposal here, go into the hotel literally across the street, like 10 feet away from the Gaylord. You've got a 10-foot walk and you can save like $100 a night. Definitely check it out. Like, explore your options. Don't just pick the first thing. This is another instance of please do your research. I also really recommend setting a budget for yourself. And especially when it comes to merchandise, try to bring it in cash if you can, at least part of it. Because if you bring it in cash, you have a physical limitation that you've set for yourself on your spending. So, once you've spent your $50 that you brought in cash on merch, you don't necessarily have more. Especially with artists, a lot of times cash is king when hopefully it's safe to touch people again. um, Convention halls and dealer rooms, those are what they're called. Yes, can you tell it's been a long time since I've been to a convention? um, Sometimes, they take credit cards, but the machines don't always work. Maybe the Wi-Fi isn't working. Maybe your phone isn't working for your PayPal. So if you can bring cash, do bring cash. And you can start a little convention fund. This is my little convention fund. It's empty because there's no conventions this year. But typically I put all of like my spare change and my spare cash in it, and I save up over the year for like a little big convention, usually in Boston. That's usually my big one. And by the time this fills up, I have like $60, $80 to spend on merch. And I don't spend that much on merch. So personally, that's like the perfect price for me. I usually don't even spend that much. So I recommend getting yourself a cute little box, having a little goal to work for, and bringing it in cash. Last tip is use your opportunities. I don't know why I sang that one. But if you have skills to share, if you have something you love to talk about, something you love to show off, definitely think about applying as a panelist or even a guest. A lot of conventions will give you a discounted ticket or even a fully compromised ticket. Is it compromised? I don't know what comped stands for. I feel like it is. They will pay for your ticket, essentially. And that is a really great way to put in an hour, provide for the programming of the convention, to talk about something you really love to talk about, meet people, interact with people, and save some money on your ticket. It is a really good way to attend. So, wrapping this up, we've got 10 minutes left. In summary, please do your research, compare prices, think before you buy, consider your value. What do you value more, your time or your money. And that can change for different cosplays and different characters. It doesn't always have to be the same. But sometimes you want to buy something, sometimes you really want to make something. So consider for each character and each cosplay what works best for you. Go thrifting, DIY things, go thrifting again, go thrifting some more. Be really creative, and please remember to have fun. Fun is so, so, so important. So few of us are out here doing this for money. So few of us are out here doing this for like recognition. We're out here because we love this and we love being nerds and seeing friends and dressing up as anime characters. At least I do. So please remember that. That brings us to the end of our presentation. I believe we have about 5 minutes left. I will pull the chat up. I've been trying to keep an eye on it, but I'm not amazing at it because I talk a lot. So if you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask right now. If not, I can easily, like, I don't know, rant about craft foam some more.